BOX5-TV and Marching Arts Education present Marching Arts Now!
Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Welcome to Marching Arts Now. I'm here with Jason Robb. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Just got home from Indianapolis.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been such a fantastic season. We all sort of survived for those last very few frantic weeks, but it's been really exciting. Band is back, and band it seems like better than ever. I think a lot of people are surprised at the level that people were able to achieve coming out of the shutdown.
Yeah, well, you know, they always say distance makes the heart grow fonder, and I think that just having so much time without it, everyone really decided like how they felt about it and how they wanted to do it. And I feel like, in my experience, not only was it better, but people were doing it better in a way that they were taking care of themselves and doing what they loved in a better way, so that, you know, when you take care of yourself mentally and physically, like, you can do better work. And I saw that a lot from a lot of the people that I'm around. It was great. I was at all of the UIL state marching stuff, BOA San Antonio and Grand Nationals, and I just saw the best, most healthy energy I've ever seen in my career, which was awesome.
I totally agree with that. And the thing is, it's on every level too. It's like band directors, instructors, students, parents. I feel like everybody has sort of adopted what you've just described, and it's really encouraging to me. And look at what came out of it. Just the love of our activity just was flying off the field.
Absolutely, absolutely. We had a blast. It was such a great season. I can't wait to see just how it keeps building on itself. You know, we started having drum corps meetings. People are getting into WGI. Like, the activity's still rolling, and it's going to be really fun to see what happens in the next 18 months.
Well, everybody, let's take that energy, keep that perspective, and keep moving forward. It's going to be exciting. So what we're going to do right now is Jason and I are going to talk about 6 shows from the last week. So it was the final week of UIL Texas, and then, of course, everything that happened at Grand Nationals. And I have chosen 6 shows that I wanted to talk about this time. And so we're going to start with Hebron High School from Texas, who was the 6A UIL champion. You know, one of the buzzwords in our activity, Jason, is clarity. And, you know, great groups have great clarity to everything they're doing and their music and their playing. And I feel like that, to me, characterized the Hebron show.
I was fortunate to be able to watch that show 4 times, and I mean, it's insane. Like, the way that the performers are just owning what's been given to them. I mean, the design and the performance is a great example of when those two things meet in the perfect way. And I mean, they are doing and executing more than anyone I've ever seen. It was really, really, really powerful to watch. And you know, normally a marching band show or pageantry show kind of has dips and valleys. That show did not. It was like pedal to the metal for 8 minutes. It was a lot. My Apple Watch, when I watched it live, was like going off like, your heart rate is elevated, your heart rate is elevated, because it was so exciting. So that's one of my most famous performance. The UIL 6A state finals performance of that show is one of my most favorite live performance I've ever done. I've ever seen. It was outstanding.
Yeah, really special. So congrats for Hebron for winning their first state championship there, and well deserved. Everybody's been talking about that amazing performance. Next up, we're going to talk about Murray High School from Kentucky, who was the BOA 1A champion at Grand Nationals. So this fight scene was epic. I've never seen such a well choreographed fight scene on the field before. And those are hard, everybody. They're really hard to make look that realistic for that long. So Jason, I had to include that scene from this wonderful show.
Yeah, and that program has been, you know, they've been like the Kentucky State champion for many years, and they have new directors. Actually, the new director is a former student of mine from the Madison Scouts. But that band particularly, it's really heartwarming to see them kind of like move into the new era of marching band and find success even with a changing of the guards. So I think, you know, it was super exciting. I was able to see them when they did their exhibition performance, and it's just, you know, outstanding energy from the students. They did a great job.
And I got to tell you guys, no matter how many students you have, what kind of band, where you're from, it doesn't matter. You can have an amazing show, and that's a great example of just not a ton of students, but so much effect, so much entertainment, so much great music, and it was just a great show. So congrats to them for sure. Next up, we're going to talk about Flower Mound High School from Texas. So it was so hard to choose a 30-second clip from the show because it was just packed with effect after effect after effect. Of course, the Dr. Seuss production. Flower Mound won high music at finals at Grand Nationals, which was a huge accomplishment with all those amazing bands. But Jason, I loved everything about how immersive this show was from beginning to end.
Yeah, well, could you imagine just performing it? Like how much fun the students had? Wayne Downey does their music. Alan Spaeth is the program coordinator, and Alan Spaeth is like Mr. Detail. He no stone unturned, but like you could just tell that the students can it was so much fun for them to perform. You could feel that when you were watching it. So I had a blast. I mean, that show was so fun, but it also had so much emotional variety in it. It was just they did such a great job, and the kids totally owned it.
Yeah, and I think what you described is exactly my feeling. Was just it's so much fun to watch the students having so much fun. Like they were just clearly loving every minute of it. They totally bought into all the wackiness, all the crazy visuals, and everything that made it work. So congrats to them.
Yeah, awesome work.
Next up, another band coordinated by Alan Spaeth, who you were just mentioning, Jenison High School from Michigan, with their Spirits of the Canyon. I just thought this show was so beautiful. Like the visual, the environment that they created with the canyon, it changed from time to time with the backdrops opening up and things happening. But I just thought it was so beautiful. And I chose this clip because who doesn't want to hear 12 French horns have their moment? As a French horn player, I feel like I had to include that clip.
Well, and it's not often that you see an aesthetic that's so interesting, and the way that he used the students as part of the environment to separate from the color guard, I thought it was super interesting. Actually, I was walking into the stadium when they were heading to warm up and saw them like in real time, like right there. And when you see those students in that whole uniform in person, I mean, it's like I stopped, my jaw's on the ground. I was like, oh my gosh, like they're bringing their A game from an aesthetic standpoint. So it's really interesting and really creative way to come up with a concept that we've seen that before. We've seen, Grand Canyon or Cave or whatever shows before, but not like that. It's super interesting.
And there was a moment in the middle where they opened up one of the backdrops and a river came flowing out, and they pulled this river across the field, and then they had flags that matched and they had this like water moment in the water moving through the canyon. I just thought it was so beautiful. I really wanted to include that clip, but I went with the French horns instead. It was a hard choice, but I gotta say, Jason, a lot of times, I'm gonna make some people angry with this probably, or scratch their heads, I've been around a long time, everybody, but a lot of times I see shows and I think, it didn't matter if they had on these special show shirts, you know what I mean? Like I'll say they could have worn their band uniform and it still would have worked because they had a lot of other aesthetics and set pieces and things that made it happen. But the way that Alan and that team designed this show, it was integral that they have that on their body because they were part of the canyon sort of landscape that he created.
Yeah, for sure. It was a home run. It was awesome.
I just thought it was so beautiful. So anyway, my hat's off to everybody at Jenison. Congratulations. Next up, we're going to watch Broken Arrow, the Grand National champion, of course, from Oklahoma. Jason, this show, everybody was talking about this show. It's so much effect, so many emotions. This was a clip toward the end of the show when they're really revving up toward the end, but what an impressive performance from this band.
Well, yeah, of course, Wes Cartwright has been the program coordinator there for a long time, and he's the master of effect. I mean, he's basically he's dominant, But I felt like this show had a little bit of a different emotional context than what we've seen from him before. Like, it was very personal, and it's not often that I get to see a marching band show at Grand Nationals that makes me feel like I'm intimately with them. And when you go to WGI and you're sitting in Dayton, especially if I like to sit in the front, and it's so intimate. It's like a circus show, and that's what I felt about this. There's a quality about it that was so endearing from the performers, because they knew exactly what their job was. And I mean, the last 3 minutes of the show, I was like in tears. It was so amazing. Like, I don't know a better word than to say it was so intimate and so emotional. And that's hard. That's a hard emotional range to communicate with high school kids. You know what I mean? It was really special, a special performance, one for the ages, I would say.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a great way to describe it all. And I felt like from the beginning, when they had this sort of movement thing with the guard dancing with this very ethereal music, and like it was like, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
Like, this is different for them. This is different for our activity. And it was sort of daring to sort of create that tone and then build from there. I just thought that they took a lot of chances that ended up really paying off for them. And of course, I also wanted to include this clip because you can see all this movement from the performers, just so much movement and body movement and dance and things included from the wind performers too, at a level that I don't know if we've seen integrated quite like this before.
Agreed.
So congrats everybody, Broken Arrow, fantastic performance. The last show we're going to watch today is just one that I chose just for me because I call myself the Beast of the Marching Arts, and Westwood Heisman for Texas did a Beauty and the Beast show. So I have to play a clip of it here as we're ending. So let's watch Westwood.
There you go.
So I was the Beast for Halloween, so I have to put my horns on to talk about this show. But anyway, I love Human again. I enjoyed everything about the show, and I thought the environment they created was very smart. It was like a giant book props over here that they used as a stage for soloists. I thought that was really smart. And just the way they decided to interpret it made me happy. I liked this show. I like shows that are accessible to the audience and also full of good music.
Yeah, it was a great production, and I like how they commit to it. Like, their aesthetic is also very approachable, and they want to do things that their kids have fun doing. And I think that people sometimes can get a little snooty about what they want to do, and I felt like they presented a product that was approachable but still very sophisticated in its own way. And it was, I saw them at State, and they're around the Austin area, so I saw them a lot all season, and the band is very good. They're very, very, very strong, and it was a really fun show to watch. So.
Well, I enjoyed it. So congrats everybody at Westwood. Thanks for making the Beast of the Marching Arts really happy this season. I enjoyed that a lot. Jason, thanks for talking to me. Like you said, I can't wait for next season. And actually, we had a lot of things happening between now and then in our marching activity, but it's going to be exciting to see where everybody goes from here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And I hope, it seems like everyone had a wonderful season. So congratulations to everyone on getting through the first marching season back from COVID. And I can't wait to see, how people keep pushing it forward. It's going to be fantastic.
Thanks for talking with me.
One more time.
And now, to complete this final episode of Marching Arts Now, we present some of our favorite stories from this year. These are just some short clips from stories that you can find on previous episodes of Marching Arts Now or on the BOA Today podcast, and most of them you can find at the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel. Lindsay, if a director or students are watching these shows and they think, wow, maybe we could be out there on that field too, what would you tell them about the benefits of attending a Bands of America competition?
Well, number one, you can be out there. Number two, you should be out there. Number three, and probably the biggest, is the beautiful part of Bands of America is you are exposing yourselves to so many other teams in a way that in your own local circuit you don't always see. So again, if you're playing the same baseball team, you're playing the same football team, you're playing the same basketball, whatever the sports analogy is, you grow more when you are around other programs. Whether you're a director or you're a student or whatever it is, you're going to grow by watching other things. The biggest thing that Bands of America offers is the learning experience. Whether you go and you have one performance and maybe you don't make finals that night, you are still gaining, sometimes more so, gaining so much by sitting in the stands, having your students watch other teams and have their jaws drop and think, oh, well, they're 16, I'm 16. What's the difference? You know what I mean? Like, what can I do? If they can do it, I can do it. So I think the biggest thing about Bands of America is that all these regionals, how many different states are represented, how many different regions are represented, and you're getting to see how other programs do what they do. And I think that's the biggest benefit of traveling to a regional.
Absolutely. And as you're trying to grow your program, you have to show them what's possible.
You do.
And like
Yes.
you said, if that person on the field can do it, then I can do it too. I love that. Thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
See more of this conversation on the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel.
Everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts, and we are here to talk with one of the biggest fans at BOX5-TV. On the line with us today, Corey Snyder. Corey, how are you?
Good.
Great to see you. And his father, Mark Snyder, is with us too. Mark, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having us on.
So, Corey, I want you to know that Robin and Tim Snyder, who do BOX5-TV, they were like, we have this super fan. He never misses. We would love for you to talk to him. And I was like, I would love to talk to him. So, Corey, they think you're pretty great. So Tell me about, you like to watch the BOX5 broadcasts?
Yes.
So, like, do you watch all the time? Just sometimes? How often do you try to see them?
All the time.
All the time. Man, that is a super fan. So tell me how it works there, Corey. I mean, these days with Bands of America regionals, that's a whole day thing, and BOX5 is broadcasting from the first thing in the morning till, as he mentioned, late at night. So do you just sort of set up in front of the TV? Do you have a certain way that you do that?
A picture's worth 1,000 words with Corey. He literally has like master control. I don't know how he does it, but I walk in and he's got the main TV, and then he's showing me on his iPad he's got something, and then on his laptop he's got something, and then on his iPhone he's got all these things going on at once. It's pretty interesting. I don't know what it is, but what is it, Corey? Are they all different feeds? Yes. Yeah, very cool.
So you are like you're paying attention to all of it at the same time. I have to tell you, I can't do that. Like that's a lot of work. And so then do you decide like which one you're going to watch, like which show is most interesting on which feed? Is that the way that goes?
Yeah.
So of course you're the well-known voice of Bands of America. So I want to ask you, I know you've been asked this many times, but why do you love it? Why do you love doing this job? Why do you love getting to announce for these students each week?
It's funny that you asked that question because, last weekend was our first weekend back after COVID. And I had said for years prior to this that when I get to 35 years, I'm going to call it a day, that I would retire after 35 years. This, with the COVID year, this is year 33. And so we got to McAllen and walked the 50,000 steps up to that press box that has no air conditioning, and spent all day in a stadium where we had to pause the show because of the heat stroke, because of how hot it was in Texas. And when it was over, I went, wow, I miss this. It's everything, it's the energy. It's what the kids bring to it. It's what the team brings to it. It's an experience unique like anything else. And we get to do that. We get the pleasure, the privilege of getting to be a part of that. And, when you're away from it a while, you appreciate it a lot more. So I do it because it fills a hole in my heart that needs filled.
Well, and you know that you're making a difference for those students, right? Your voice inspires them. Your voice makes them know, like, I'm really here.
I've been told that, and I think that's awesome. But believe me, I get as much out of it as they do. I promise you that.
Well, I love that you're doing such a great job. I hope that you keep going even after 35. That's up to you, of course. But this has been so much fun to talk to you today. Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Hinton from Marching Arts Education. You are going to love this conversation. Imagine that you had a show idea that involved robots, and then but you're like, I'd love to have a real robot on the field. But then, the next thing that happens is you go, no, that's not possible. That can't possibly happen. Well, all right. Granite City High School band actually made it happen. So we are going to talk to them today. Wyatt Roberts, how are you, sir?
Hey, we're doing great.
So, Ava, is it like a video game console or something? Like, what do the controls look like?
So there's these two joysticks. Do you see these? The red. I do that.
Yeah, there you go.
See it? Yeah. So to go forward, they both have to be pushed forward. To go back, I go both back. And to turn it, one goes forward, one goes back.
The first movement, this is just standing, or it's just sitting at the back of the field. It's like he said, it's just the beginning where everything kind of starts fitting together. And so that it's one in the entire first movement. And then second movement where it changes to that kind of softer, slower music, it turns blue. So it's a little more happy. It's trying to kind of get there. And then at the second or third movement, that's when it changes to red. Red. Because that's when it gets mad. It can't be human.
But there's not too much space.
Yeah.
Come forward a
I don't
little
want
more.
to hit anyone.
Oh, no, come on. What do you mean? You already hit me once with her, so.
We're just really excited to have this time to collaborate with the robotics team to make sure that we, spread the message of STEAM and get that out to the community and just show that, we're all on the same team. We're all working for a common vision, common goal. We definitely enjoy entertaining our audience, and the audience, I must say, has really appreciated this show. They've enjoyed it.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. I'm here talking to 4 Bands of America super fans. We're gonna have a great conversation. Let me say hi to everybody. Kyle Class, how are you, Kyle?
All right, doing good. You?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here. Michelle Debose, how are you, Michelle?
Having me, I'm great.
Thanks for being here. Shane Leonard, how are you, Shane?
Great, Tim. Thanks for having us here.
Absolutely. And Mark Martin, how are you, Mark?
I'm doing wonderful.
First thing I'd like to ask you is, why do you love Bands of America? I'm just going to randomly start with Michelle. Michelle, you're a super fan. Why do you love Bands of America?
I love Bands of America for a lot of reasons. I think I just started as a band parent, and so I loved the opportunity and the atmosphere that it provided for my child at the time. Now, since she's been gone, it's more about how Bands of America has created a community of people just like myself that are fans even long before having someone closely involved in the activity.
Yeah, I love Bands of America because, they're part of Music for All. And I think people think Music for All is just for, high schoolers or K through 12, but really it's for everyone who attends the shows and the events. So I think that's what, it brings people together in a shared experience that everyone can enjoy. So I think that's why I like it the most.
You guys all define yourselves as super fans, and I think that you certainly are. And when I put out the megaphone for, hey, I want to talk to some super fans, I appreciate you guys all responding and letting me talk with you today. See more of this conversation on the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel.
Bring it in.
As we finish this last episode of Marching Arts Now, I want to say thank you to everybody for making it such a great season. Thank you for watching and for sharing this with your friends. I want to say thank you to everybody at BOX5-TV, Robin and Tim Snyder, and everybody on the team there that were so welcoming to those of us at Marching Arts Education, letting us be a part of their broadcast and a part of this Marching Arts Now special video presentation. I want to thank the guys at TX Bands, particularly Daniel Valdez and Chris Drake, for spending so much time helping us out on the broadcast, being a part of these special interviews, sharing their excitement about the season. I want to say thank you to all the guests who talked with us, all the band directors and their staff members who sent in the stories and then who took time out of their very busy season to stop and have interviews with us and let us share their stories. Thank you so much for them, for their time, and for sharing their stories in such a vulnerable and authentic way with our audience. Thank you to everybody at Music for All, everybody at the Bands of America organization for letting us be a part of their season, for letting us create their Bands BOA Today special podcast each week, and for letting us be a part of their broadcasts and help support their mission this whole fall. And of course, Thank you to everybody who created these great shows, had such a great season. Thank you to all the students for all their hard work, for the directors and staff members and parents and everybody involved in these shows. What an inspiring and exciting season it was. We're looking forward to more in the future, of course. Thank you so much for watching. This is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Thank you for watching. Have a great year.
BOX5-TV and Marching Arts Education present Marching Arts Now!